Let's get into it with Susie O'Brien from the Herald Sun in Melbourne and Stephen Senatiempo, 2CC breakfast host in Canberra. Thanks to both of you for joining me. I want to get on to cost of living issues straight away, and our health premiums, private health premiums have gone up this week, around about 3% or over 3% on average. I don't think the Health Minister was out there talking today, Mark Butler, but he did issue this statement saying the government has ensured Australians get value for money from their private health insurance, with the average cost of premiums rising at a much slower rate than the increase in wages, the age pension and inflation. So all is sweet, according to Mark Butler. But Susie, it strikes me that we found out about these increases this week, not last week when there was a by-election in play.
Oh, God, private health insurance, you can't afford not to have it, but you actually can't afford to have it. I mean, these funds wanted 6% increase. The government only said they could get 3% increase, but that's still a huge amount of money. And I think it's absolutely time that people shop around, try and get the best deal they can. And you know what? Look at what you're covered for. If you're 50, maybe you no longer need obstetrics. And maybe, you know, the kids have had their braces off. You don't need all the extras cover as well. So I think, you know, if the government is going to say that they're going to be looking out for the average Australian's cost of living, doing more to bring down health insurance is something key that they can be doing. It's a problem.
I'm looking around for one that does hair replacement. But the thing is here with Stephen, the trouble is as the cost of living crunch, you know, increases, that's something that families give up. They hate doing it, but sometimes they drop out of private health insurance. Yep. That, of course, increases the cost for everyone else, because the really rich people, they don't even bother with health insurance. They just figure if I get sick, I'll pay for it myself. So, you know, something's got to give in this space.
Yeah, I think that, look, if ever there was a need for a proper inquiry, it's into, well, obviously the broader health system, but private health insurance, because it is a major cost. And I look at mine and I pay, I think, something in the vicinity of $175 a fortnight. I'm covered for all sorts of stuff that I'm never ever going to use, but the things I actually need, I'm not covered for. So, you know, there needs to be a real look at how these policies are actually structured. Now, because private health insurance is not like any other kind of insurance. If you insure your car, it's there just in case you have an accident. Health insurance is different. You are going to use it throughout the course of the year for various medical procedures, and there's obviously extras covering all of those kind of things. But it's almost like you're paying for stuff that you think you're going to get, but unless you read the fine print really, really clearly, you don't know what you're actually getting for your money. And I've got an example. I had to see a specialist a couple of months back. I've got absolute top hospital and top extras cover. Not a cent of it was covered by private health insurance.
Yeah, it is a worry, but as Susie said at the outset, you can't afford not to have it, and you can't afford to have it.
Well, that's right.
It's a problem. And look, the cost of living pressures is going to keep coming. We're overdue now to get our latest electricity price rises. They aren't going to be good, and it's kind of handy for Labor. All this is delayed till after the by-election. We shall see what happens there. When it comes to climate activists, Susie, they've been creating havoc in Melbourne again today, hitting the Westgate Bridge, which is a kind of pretty crucial arterial road for the city.
Oh my God, what absolute chaos these three loons created. They blocked off 3 lanes of the Westgate Bridge, one of the major arterial roads into Melbourne. So a 20-minute commute turned into 2.5 hours. And there they were blaming the police for not getting them off fast enough. So one of them, they've all been in court already. They got, you know what, 15 months sentences. One of them is only going to be in jail for 8 months for causing absolute havoc across this city. There were medical incidents on the side of the road. There were people running out of petrol. There were people whose cars were breaking down in the middle of being stuck in traffic because they, you know, the engines were overheating. It was absolute chaos. And not only does this say a lot about these absolute idiots for whom they're doing absolutely no service to their cause whatsoever, but it also says how little the Labor government in this state has been doing about the ability of people to get around the city. You have one truck blocking 3 lanes and it closes the city down. That's a disgrace for the state government as well.